I'm not going to propose to a guy ever.
And tomorrow,
where do you live, Henry?
Are you in Lagos?
I want to
Are you
get
in Nigeria?
married.
How will you not feel
Just like
attached
you
after
must.
sex?
Yeah.
Like, no.
About every parent becomes the police
Okay.
in the lives of their kids.
Proposing is not like me. I will just come direct like you guys do and open one ring and
Okay,
no,
okay.
no.
So-
guy, never reach me will marry me.
That's like you popping question.
There was a communication, something happened. So there's something like accidental
I'm
pregnancy.
working more than 12 hours because I'm going to wake earlier than him to take care of the children.
Do you know you are naturally, supernaturally built that way?
Okay,
Do you know? Do you know?
Imagine what
God has divinely made you like that.
Imagine.
Hello, and welcome to the lounge. My name is Melanie Ishola, and before I let the cat out of the bag, I believe it's great for me to introduce to you the really yummy personalities of the lounge. And today I'm not starting from my right, usually my favorite, but I'm going to the left side to start with Munyolua Olajide. And I'm not putting her under the bus today. So yeah, Muny, shine fly.
I'm sick today. Good evening.
All right, good evening. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
All right, next up we have Apampam. Well, name is Olani Apampa. I hope I'm correct.
Yeah,
I love the Apampam sort of mod.
Yeah,
It's
good.
Pampa.
Any which way.
Do you want to
Different
educate us?
version.
Yeah.
Pampa, that's my own.
No, well, I guess Apampam is sort of like our favorite, his colleagues' favorite. So everybody just finds a way to, warm up to him, and it's just quite nice. So good to have you on the lounge.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah, and now I'm going to where I should have started, but how are you? Should I call you? Which one should I? Should I call you Rose?
Call me Rose.
All right, Margaret Osazua, and it's great to have you back.
Hi,
I guess since
everyone.
you came back from your leave,
Yeah.
it's the first time we're coming on the lounge together. Yeah. Good to have you.
She threw me under the bus last week, just so you know. Instead of her to come
that
on with
was
me, she
it.
left to lay me.
Nah. I pegged you with a very powerful combo.
She didn't miss me enough.
Yeah, I guess. But anyways, now that you heard that, I'm not going to be put on the hot spot, Margaret. Let's delve into the matter of the day. So we're taking this directly from the mouth of a particular lady guest on a podcast, Honest Podcast, where she says, and her name, Esther Sky, where she said that sex workers, and I choose sex workers instead of the term prostitute she used, sex workers are the best in this generation to marry. Okay, it's off the back of these that we're putting this deliberation in your faces, and we're asking that you please join in this topic, gist, this evening, because we are the ladies and guys of the gist here, and we're looking at the idea that indeed could sex workers be best candidates for marriage. I mean, you just really never know. We may be too somewhat limited in our thinking, right? Essentially looking at the stereotypes, looking at how the society has made us believe, there's something. I mean, now do not get me wrong, this is not a show about whether sex work is good or bad. This is essentially about whether or not sex workers would make better candidates for marriage. And not to be the one to start the conversation, I'd like to throw it, and sincerely, for apparent reasons, and this is a show where we get to be for or against. Please take sides. Well, at this table there's got to be sides, because we're going to have an opportunity to have a sort of word on marble, a pam on the lounge 2024. We had it once with a few, so I'm starting with you, pam.
Well, I believe that for marriage, I've not been married, but I would say I don't believe that sex workers are good candidates for marriage, or they make best wives. I think for the sanctity of a marriage and the recklessness that comes with the type of job sex workers do, I don't think they go hand in hand.
Okay.
I don't think they go hand in hand. Marriage is too serious for you to come with that whole recklessness, and I don't know the parameters you want to use. Probably, okay, some will say, okay, maybe they make good wives on the bed or whatever. But I feel that there is more to a marriage than just the sex.
Okay. Apapam, I mean, you heard loud and clear. I seem to have a number of questions of everything you've said, but I guess the first one would then be that as sex workers, the only set of people known with recklessness, people who are not necessarily sex workers, every individual, young people, with the way we live our lives. A number of adults would say, oh, the youth are known with recklessness. You know, there's this reckless abandon with which we live our lives, and that we're never really just so careful as we should be, which could be associated with growing up, youthfulness, exuberance of being young, and all of that. So yeah, how about that? I do not think recklessness should be, while I'm not, of course, against the fact that when you look at the purview of the job and what it takes to do the job of a sex worker, you could say, yes, there is a sort of reckless abandon with which you'd allow your body, you know, go into such use. Again, for a fact, sex work is work. I just want to put that out there, you know, because I know that we have a whole lot of holier than thou attitude when it comes to the mention of sex work. And this is me already making a case, because now, of what you said, I am thinking, I believe that sex workers have a lot of pluses to bring into marriage. But, I mean, the floor is still open before I make my case clearer.
Melly, what was that punchline you dropped last night? How do I come in from that place now?
That
you're
sex
saying
workers
have a lot of pluses.
Oh, yeah, they have a lot of pluses.
Okay, so, first of all, before we handle this case, are you for or against Moi?
Why do you want to know?
Like, you know,
No, please
are
don't
you
attack
for?
me like that. My opinion is my opinion.
Yeah.
Are you for or
And
against?
hold it with your photo.
Exactly.
Margaret, go.
I'm suspecting that she's against.
Shoot.
So let me go for.
Okay.
Yes. Let me just. It's a debate. I mean, there has to be like two
Absolutely,
sides.
yeah.
Yeah. So let me go for.
But, well, yeah.
Yeah. Let me go for. Coming from your end to say that yes, sometimes this sex workers per se. I don't know why the P is coming to me first, because I think that was the easiest.
I guess.
You know, I got.
But it's just a stereotyping. Yeah.
So I think that sometimes, regardless of how you say, because you said something, you said because of the sanctity of marriage and all of that. Some people still have this sanctity in marriage, and yet we have people that cheat relentlessly. And they don't just cheat with random people that just walk by the streets. We have the ones they call hookers. We have the ones they call escorts. They are all, it's just the name that differs. And you tend to pick these people to move around with and do all sorts of things with you. Explore with them. I mean, one said, my wife is my wife, and you are you.
Yeah.
Let me do whatever I want to do with you.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it on my own. Let me know where I am.
Yeah.
So we have those kind of conversations. So why would you say that they are not good enough?
If they're
for
good
marriage?
enough
If they're
for
good
that,
enough for that, they are good enough
escorts,
for
they are
marriage.
good enough for marriage.
Then again, we have to define what makes a good marriage. Then we can probably, put that under consideration.
What makes a good marriage?
School
Tell me.
us.
What makes a good marriage is the absolute peace that comes out of it. You
Okay.
get it? So, and I believe that there's always going to be a doubt if, for example, I put an ex-sex worker in the house.
What's the doubt?
What's the doubt, please?
That I'm not sure maybe she could return.
Let me take it from your mouth. You said what makes a
Go
good
ahead,
marriage.
go ahead.
Maybe let's look at indices like trust.
Yeah.
Let's look at indices like interests,
Emotional compatibility.
emotional compatibility, eventually spiritual compatibility,
Yeah.
sexual compatibility. In fact, that should have even come a lot,
Yeah.
ahead of a number of things I put, because last, it'd be like all of us just like to play holier than thou. When you get to the nitty-gritty of marriage, you realize that you talk money and sex a whole lot more than you talk a number of other things. So why are we shying away for the part of the very essence and the very things that make marriage a marriage? So I think that the question I would have for you is trust necessarily impossible because a woman's past, and indeed men can be sex workers too, or a man's past, right, was or is in sex work?
Well, I can
Does
only,
it make the man
I
or
can
the
only
woman
speak for
untrustable?
myself. I'm very big on trust.
Okay.
And
The past matters in trust.
yeah, I'm speaking for myself.
Okay,
I'm not speaking for everybody, but I'm very big on trust, and I'm also very, very careful about your past,
Okay.
because I believe it's going to rub off on the way I perceive you and how I would also look at you.
Okay.
In
And
what
I'm
I'm-
assuming you are the one without any past, isn't it?
See,
I think we should-
I think I will just take it off from
Okay.
here because are you guys seeing what Melanie and Margaret are doing? To
No, we're
Papa?
doing nothing.
No,
We're doing nothing.
Papa is my guy.
We're asking
He's out to
questions.
support him here.
Hey.
You people are giving him this look like, oh yeah,
Don't die.
Say the next
my
Carry on.
guy.
Papa, please.
Moyi, my guy.
Don't worry, let me come in.
Pam, pam. Take. Yeah. We're still cool. Let's go.
All right, so I am obviously against the fact that sex workers are better wives or better partners because
In marriage, that would be.
in marriage, yeah, because like your brother did, we say omolele will always be omolele. Lè gbé omolele sórí bed, ó máa yí padà sí lele.
Define
For you
lele.
now, do you understand what I'm talking about? A flush child cannot be a bed child. If you put a flush child on the bed, it's gonna roll down to the floor. Do you understand? So
Please define Omolele because I'm not letting this go. Leave it.
Flush child.
Leave the flush child. Now, flush child with regards to somebody who's done and we're considering sex work a dirty work now, yeah? What about all that dirty parts that aren't necessarily sex work, or the fact that maybe you're from a poor background and that's equally a kind of a
I even want her to finish half one angle.
Oh, yeah.
Carry on.
for the fact that we are talking about sex work, let us just focus on that. I know that there are other parts of
Oh,
this,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm not calling it dirty because
Okay.
there are so many circumstances or situations that could have led someone to be that kind of person. I'm not
Okay.
criticizing them, but then what is a part of you, what you've done, what you've seen yourself to be. You've already decided that this is your person. This is what I do. Some of them already think that this is what I do for a living.
living?
This is what made me who I am today. So if somebody is coming to marry me, then you cannot totally take that thing off me.
Okay.
When he, sorry, I'm not going to use that.
Say the one we want to hear it.
They say,
We want to hear it.
Kontola Bakumaku Dansaki. It cannot finish in a king body. It should not remain Dansaki. So you can't really take it away
Okay.
from someone. It's already a part
Okay.
and parcel of them. If you get married to someone like that, it will be very difficult. It will take a very long time.
I'm
Which
thinking.
it might be
Melanie.
impossible
Okay.
to totally convert that person from
Okay.
being this person that
Nice.
you are to a totally new person.
I like
Have you
what
ever
you
changed
said.
from any attribute, attitude that you think was not right or good in the past and you've become a good person afterwards? Anything at all?
yes, but not because somebody changed me.
All right, please.
No,
Because
Thank
I
you.
decided.
Because
It's
you
fine.
decided. Thank
No
you.
problem.
Yeah.
So I have something to ask you, Moi.
Okay.
I mean, okay, now you have said a whole lot of things. The flush child cannot go to the bed cannot go to the floor, the before roll down, no problem. Now tell me the difference. It's just for me, it's just a name and a
Okay.
word. Tell me the difference between people that sleep with people outside marriage and sex workers. The difference between them is the fact that they are sex workers and they sleep around.
No, they're professionals.
Sorry,
In fact,
oh,
you have to
they're professional,
elevate.
babe?
You have
Okay,
to.
wait till they sleep around. But you will date one man. You will sleep with him if you break your heart. You will date another one. You will sleep with him. You will break your heart. But now you will continue until you marry.
And when they now do the body count.
Yes, it will be crazy.
Yeah.
So what are you now? Are you now saying that because there is a
Not
name
identified,
tag
yes.
to this person saying this person is a sex worker, he or she is not lovable, is not good enough to be in a marriage?
Cannot be of great
Yes,
character.
I would say yes. You are very correct, like absolutely correct. Let me ask you one question.
Ask me, please.
If your brother brings home a sex worker, would you accept your whole heart that with my full chest?
Okay.
Go ahead.
Thank you
Sorry,
very much.
where-
When you are-
I have an
Wait,
answer.
because somebody asked me
you
the same
cannot,
question.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me
That's
answer
your own family.
Okay, let me
So
answer
why
the
then would you
question.
just
Let me
say-
answer the question.
Because
So
there's
if my
no way in this
brother,
conversation.
if my
Somebody choosing
brother,
to be a sex work.
if my
I'll
brother
regard it
decides to
anyway.
bring first things
You would
first.
accept it.
No, I would regard anybody who is a sex worker.
See, first things
That's
first.
a choice of
That's
profession.
that's not even the case. First things first.
Okay.
I want to believe that for my brother to bring a woman home that he wants to spend the rest of his life with, he has known everything that needs to be known. He has accepted her past. He has accepted her. She's a human being at the end of the day. And like you rightly said in the first instance, teens could cause all of these things. Some people were not born to be sex workers. In fact, nobody is born to be a sex worker. There are challenges, there are situations that cause you
And
to
there
be in
could
that
be
position.
mere love
And some
for
of
the
them are
profession.
really sweet people. Yes. Some of them are really great people, even better
Sweetness
than
in-
you that is not a
sweetness-
sex worker.
sweetness from
If
the
my
sex worker.
no, yes, yes. I put it
my
to
partner
you
does not
that they are
accept
human.
that.
So if my brother brings a sex worker home and says na sex worker, oh, waiting you see,
See,
as big sister,
I-
waiting you see, oh,
see, we
you
have
not
to-
see this, you not see this.
I-
But we will have
Why
that
they
conversation.
ask and say you not see this, because you already know that there's something bad in it.
See,
I think we also
whether
have-
or not we know that this is a clause, at the end of the day, it is not my decision to make. I can tell him, oh, I think she's this part, I don't think it's great. And he tells me, I know about this part. I'm ready to tread this part. I am comfortable.
Margaret,
in
let me
this
help.
part.
going to accept it
As
for
a lady,
like that.
as a lady,
Is it my decision?
As a lady who's had to, so I've been in this situation where my brother had introduced his lover, let me use that word, and I liked the lady, honestly. And then as we got to know a lot better, I felt like, knowing my brother, because I agree with him, I felt like, maybe a different personality. Now, there is nothing wrong with this lady. We're not even, sex work is not even in the equation, yeah? But maybe a better personality. Guess what? I never could tell him. I didn't convince him. I didn't say, oh, could you consider another
It's his
person?
decision.
And then eventually, he turned around and said, oh, he would like to, be with another person and would like to marry another person.
That's
Let me say
it.
this to you.
It's his
If you
decision.
brought home a sex worker, first and foremost, you are not going to present the sex worker
As a sex worker. You will tell me that
So
she's
what's
a
the
sex worker.
probability
Is that what
that
you
some
will
of
tell
your
me?
uncles, aunts, blah, 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 have not done sex work, or my own
they are
too,
not even married
and they're
to
not even
one?
married to one?
What's the
We don't
assurance?
know. Now, as we like to say, we all have a past. And all of us, including all of us. And guess what? I guess the reason I'm sort of a mouthpiece for sex workers may actually be great candidates for marriage is the fact that, they say to you in your future.
See,
I think that's the point she's making.
Wait, there's also the possibility that you can revisit your past.
Absolutely.
Correct.
I do not disagree. Yeah.
So now, like I said, I'm only speaking for myself, and I'm speaking as a cultural man. That, of course, there's also the stereotype cliche, and I believe that, irrespective of how, let me use a Yoruba adage. See, they say, "Igbe kinkinle ti awo
Kushe.
gbegiri."
But why are we using seemingly dirty?
No, I'm
So we're just trying
no,
to
I'm just.
explain this
I will break it
situation
down
around.
That's
now.
how I see it.
Like
That's proverb.
a
that's
little
proverb.
a little death on the edge of a plate of fried rice. I mean, even if you are so fascinated about the rice, your mind will still be.
Okay, so if you got married to a woman now,
Yeah.
and for some reason
If
you
you're
can't
married to a sex
satisfy her.
worker.
No, let's remove sex worker. For some reason she cannot satisfy you. No, wait.
Is it sexually or what?
Yes,
Yes.
sexually she cannot satisfy you. And this is a marriage. Now this is not a relationship where you say, I don't think I can continue anymore. This is a marriage. You don't plan on getting a divorce. So what do you do?
I don't
Because
plan.
for most men, and I'm saying 80% of men, this God is my statistics,
Now, the
Margaret statistics.
Absolutely, yeah.
80% of men will go out and sleep around, and then they will come back home and say, see, I will sort myself. I've heard that word.
See.
So let's
Let me
not
tell
act,
you another
let's not
reason.
act
Let me-
holier
let
than
me-
thou
let
like
me-
these conversations
yes,
don't
let's
say.
say it. And let me-
They'll tell you, let me go and
Margaret,
satisfy
Margaret,
myself outside so that
Margaret,
I don't stress
Margaret,
you.
see, I'm
Rather than teach you how to raise your leg and
Margaret,
let them use chain to
Margaret,
bundle your
How to
hands.
do acrobatic.
Thank you.
Margaret,
They will not.
Margaret.
They'll say, let me go and do
I'm
it
a
with,
realist,
work
yeah.
outside
Margaret,
and come home to
I'm
you.
a realist. I don't deceive myself. You get it? And I won't start something that I won't be able to control at the end of the day. I don't want to put you in a situation as my wife that I have a disdain for you. Yes.
If you marry a sex worker, you
How do
cannot
you
have
mean
this.
this
Then you
thing?
married
Excuse me.
now.
No, I have a question.
See,
If you
there are
marry, if you are
certain
dating-
there are certain intricacies that, in quotes, sex workers show that
Please tell me.
I believe that they are lifetime intricacies.
Tell me, please.
I don't want to get
No,
deeper.
please.
No, you know, so you have to
clarify.
educate
No,
me.
I don't want to get deeper. Now,
No, please do.
for example,
Deeper.
okay, for example,
I think all of us know it's
sexual
sexual, like it or
sexual expectations. Me, my eyes never open.
Yeah.
I'm just my eyes
coming
never
up,
open.
just a young man.
I'm just starting my life.
That's
So you'd
true.
rather
You know,
marry
sense.
somebody on your level of exposure
You understand?
sexually than somebody who knows
So
sex more
now,
than you.
and I get
think
married
it's a great
to,
point.
and I get married to someone that has, like you said, been there, done there.
Raise hand up. Use leg.
You
rub,
get.
everything.
So
Yeah.
now,
I'm 360 degrees.
now you have some certain sexual orientations that you have, and if I don't meet up with those expectations, there will be problems.
Absolutely, there will be.
Okay, see, we're talking about, I think we've been talking about married, like husband and wife perspective. The other sides to marriage is not just about we coming together and just our compatibility. The other sides. This person in question, is she mentally prepared to be a wife, a mother, a sister to my siblings, a sister-in-law, or a
queen
daughter-in-law.
mother in our
exactly.
community.
Is she ready to
Yeah.
be a mother in full? Because these people now, I am not trying to paint them black. Okay, let me just try to bring myself back. I'm not painting them black. But then there are other factors you need to put in place. She has been this kind of person. Probably with her background, she was abandoned. She never experienced love from home. And she has just lived her life to not love anybody, but herself. Just do what I want to do and get my money and get on with my life. And now you're bringing her into a family setting. You want her to be a mother, to have children, to love those children, to protect those children. Are you sure that this person can actually be all of that without problem?
Okay, so I have a problem with the word wants. You want her to be. She wants to be. You don't. First of all, you do not force a woman into marriage, except it's arranged. An elder sits down in a forum and say, okay, oh, by force, by fire, oh, we will divorce you, we will disown you, we will do this, we will do that. But you don't force a woman to get married. So if you're talking about a sex worker, a husband saying, I want you to be, even as a woman, you don't force us to do what we do not want to do. So if she is not ready to be a mother or a wife, she will say it. She will not get into any commitment. Abi? She will not go into any commitment.
Let's just say she gets into the commitment.
She
and
cannot.
Just gets married.
It's
for getting married
unrealistic
sake.
that she does
You
not.
know,
Why would she get married for
This
getting
person we are
married
talking
sake?
about, do you think that she's not going to marry somebody just for money?
Okay,
She mentioned
She
it.
said it that she will
She's-
marry someone for money.
and-
But
and
that's
she's not even
already-
looking for love.
You don't think that kind
and
of
that's
person
a
is
whole
mentally
different
prepared
and
to
that's
be a mother.
Moyi, I hear you, but I think that's a whole different conversation. The conversation of whether you marry for money or not, and I've been asked on the lounge before whether or not people who do not have money, men who do not have money, are worthy of love and all of that. And I was categorical in saying make money. But now here is the gist. Yeah, it's because it is what it is. Because now when you are saying marriage, I know that we need to get as practical as the fact that half of the decisions you are making in marriage would be contingent upon money. Where do we live? House rents. We have woken up, food for the house. Food. I mean, come on.
But
So
breakfast
I
in
get
bed,
yes,
God, steam
breakfast.
on
You want me to? Davido said it.
Yeah.
Love is sweeter.
When money
When money
enter.
enter, love is sweet.
sweeter. I know that
That's
one.
what it is.
Yes.
But the truth is, everybody is worthy of love. But we need to understand the business angle and see. Hate me for it. But the business angle there is to almost every phenomenon and even marriage. It is why you see those of the upper echelon in the society not wanting their children to be married to a poor person, because a marriage decision essentially isn't just a love decision. It's essentially a sort of social decision. It's a business decision. It's a wealth decision. It's a legacy decision. And they just have to make it so. Now, if you're looking at this lady in question, I think she was quite truthful. And the part where she got me, she sold me totally, was where she said, oh, I was raised a bastard.
Yeah.
And I think
I
that
was
gives
raised
me a
without love.
perspective into the kind
Nobody
of...
wanted
Yes, in the kind of ideology that groomed her. And essentially the kind of person she's become. But she's not even the subject of this conversation. But to take the word from her mouth and look at it critically. Now, I'm looking at certain attributes, and I think we should talk to attributes at this juncture. Okay, so... would a sex worker essentially make a better wife? Yes, I think for some reasons. E.g. I think because the work a sex worker does has basically been predicated upon negotiations and communication. A sex worker may be a better negotiator and communicator, like it, hate it. I think that they would be big on empathy. Whether you like it or not, every human relationship thrives on empathy. Sometimes I need to be in your shoe. Sometimes you need to be in my shoe. A sex worker, and see, even for people who are not sex workers, who essentially you may think have led less pious lives than you have led, you find that they have more mercy. The Bible, let me please quickly borrow the Bible, says, to whom that has been forgiven much, that person would have more mercy. Now, I'm going to land on just maybe these two other points so that I can have you, counter the point. I also think that they somewhat may have better emotional intelligence.
It's not even somewhat. Most of them do.
Emotional intelligence.
Now, so
which is a key ingredient. Which is a key ingredient in actually running a successful marriage. So if you maybe leave your fear of the fact that she's going to go back into being a sex worker, and if you think that maybe your sexual differences are not so much and that you guys can work it out, if you are clear on the fact that this is really a past and this person is ready to turn a new leaf, and as Moni said, not that she was convinced by you, but personally has made the decision, as you said, you made a U-turn from certain, we all have had things that we're not proud of.
Everybody has a past.
Yes,
not proud
and
of.
that we're like, oh, but I'm no longer that person.
You can't judge them with the past.
Right, and I think, and you know, and nothing is respecting boundaries. Oh goodness, sex workers respect boundaries, yo. Hello, and let me top it for you. She's gonna give it to you good. So yeah, what's remaining?
Like I said,
That's for me.
You know, because they say that at the end of the day, all women are prostitutes. You have not heard that.
No, literally.
Literally.
Literally,
So what I
no.
say, have you not been abused before and been called a prostitute? I carry belly, carry picture like this. One
Boss
conductor call me,
well, I agree with all that you listed, and I mean you are talking from the point of having an experience in marriage, and of course you know.
These are the things.
Yeah, you know the things that are very needed for a good marriage, but I still maintain that, I mean, Africans are natural stereotypes, and I believe that, you know, we are so very big, whether, of course, we are hypocrites or not, but we are so very big on the morality side of things.
Yes.
We are so very big on it.
Yeah.
And I don't believe that even if she has all of these qualities, even if she has, okay, she can communicate better and everything. Now, how about she dealing with the pressure that comes with that stereotype within marriage in relation to, okay, the in-laws?
How did the in-laws know that she was a prostitute?
They
Or
can
they said-
dig up
How
fast.
do
They
you
can
mean?
dig up things. We have people that will say, this is your babe that you brought to the house. No, you can't marry her.
Let's say,
I
I think I watched this in a Yoruba movie or something, that the girl was a sex worker and the guy was trying to cover it up, and they went for a family event. Then the uncle from somewhere,
her customers
and
were
also
seated there.
the brother or something came, and she went, and she was their customer, like they were her customers, brother. And they knew, and they're like, Talele, they started even greeting themselves, but they knew that this person is.
So that's why I have a problem.
And
It takes two to tango. The uncles and the family members were dealing with what makes them better than her.
how would they
I'm
accept
dancing
her
to
to
the
be
dance
married
music.
to their brother?
let's say they even get married. Now,
How are they fit to be relatives to the brother marrying the sex worker?
What was he doing in a whole house?
What was he doing with a whore? If you want us to
And
call
now,
a sex
what
worker
was
a
he
whore,
doing in a whole house?
how is it better than the whore? So the law of demand and supply, and I think it's high time we actually got there. So we like to say, oh, Ashawo, and I guess that's where I really do not have a problem with being called an Ashawo. No, really, and I mean seriously, I think I've made peace with the fact that all women are Ashawo. It's fine. As long as
Shall
say,
they come up
your mama
clothes?
day, your sister day,
you dey come up
all of
clothes?
us day, all of us gather body and joy. We dey come up clothes. I don't dey come up clothes.
Abi?
My sister. But now here is the point. Yeah,
Yeah.
is the point that if there was no demand, there'll be no
supply.
supply.
Melanie.
So
Good.
who is actually patronizing? Okay, all of us are prostitutes. I agreed. So who is patronizing us?
Oh.
How is the person
Spirits.
patronizing me?
I know.
Better than me.
I know what I want to say.
So
Of course,
I think sex workers should throw away shame, and I think a number of us should throw away shame, especially when they've made a decision for a change, and especially not allow other people who possibly had a poor past as well, judge them off the things they're no longer.
no. And I would like to ask.
They're human beings.
And I would like to. I painted a scenario there. Okay, I'm just starting my life, and I'm in quotes going to get married to a sex worker. Now, who has huge sexual orientations. She has enough experiences. Now, we get into the marriage, and I can't deal with all of those sexual orientations.
The urges and all of those.
Yeah.
Keeping up with the acts.
So, how does she deal with such
That's
a
a big
case?
problem.
That's the very big problem, because if you guys are not compatible,
Sexually?
How we can't be compatible?
Who says?
no, you can't. See,
Who says?
when I was
See,
saying-
sex work for her was
Papa
just
does
a
not even
work.
trust
She was
himself.
just
that
acting.
one,
What
that one, I would
does
have
that
to see on that one,
to them?
Papa.
That
See,
is-
a sex worker, I've tasted different guys, like the lady said.
Yeah.
She has done different persons.
So
And
she
if
know
she's
how to
choosing
handle
stay
you.
with one person, with your flaws, whether you have, like what she said, the large and the small, whatever, she is choosing to be with you
Why are you
because
choosing not to call it what she calls it?
no, I beg. So yeah, if you have that quality, or maybe you have
What
one certain
quality?
type of, you understand?
What quality?
What are you making me say? You understand what I mean?
What quality now?
No, leave her pampan. Move on.
No, like I'm talking about your manhood and the size and everything.
Yeah.
And you
Finally, I
actually,
love that
she
Yeah.
has probably had sex with you, and she knows your size. If she's choosing to love you and be with you,
And there's
she's
this-
willing to accept all of that.
Which is difficult.
Because she
In
has
the
already-
area of money,
let's say-
in
wait,
the
let's
area
say
of
when-
money,
let's
if
say-
it is not satisfactory to her, it is if it is satisfactory to her.
No.
Depending on the size. And I've heard guys, and maybe you can help me, Pam Pam, argue that it's not even in the size. In the end,
It is how.
it's in the usage.
Exactly. It's in the house, not in the.
Is it both?
Now scam.
I sip
Oh,
my drink
Size
again.
and use.
I'm gonna just be sipping
like
this
living
drink.
No, this is the part where I should not be on this. It's fine.
My
See,
drink.
wait. Any lady that tells you is not the size, is how you use it. It's just to, not to put you in an untoward
So
situation.
are you saying guys that do not have the size are not worthy of
No,
love
I'm
or
not saying
marriage?
And
that.
then there's
I'm not.
advantage.
No, I'm not
That's what I
saying
meant
that.
to
I'm not
say.
saying that. But now that's in a scam. That's
How?
no. I don't want
Well,
to go
women,
deeper.
maybe we can have a women convention
did we
over this
move
and have
from-
a serious-
sex
But
with
I
them?
now
This
let's
is
now
not
let,
allowed.
now you said
This is the
All of
most
you-
important
wait
part of
when you said
honesty.
something
This
when you
is
said
the
something
most
let's say
important
like
part of
assuming okay we had sex before we got married assuming we did not have sex before we got married
with a sex worker. Okay.
What if she got born again? What if she got born
Okay,
again?
yes, accept
Yes.
it. But
It's very
then,
possible.
if she's willing to marry you, she's accepting the whole of it.
No.
I can say for
I
a
don't
fact that
believe
when
so.
a sex worker loves someone and they pick someone
Oh, and I
they
want to sing
choose
a
to
song.
quit.
They are
When a
lovable.
woman loves,
Yes, and when they choose to quit what they
know
do
the
and be with a
she
particular
loves for
person.
real.
Okay, say it again. Say
Well,
it
I
again.
don't
When a
believe
woman
so.
loves,
When a woman loves,
she loves for real.
she
Like,
loves
money
for
that is
real.
People should enter studio.
I-
Not like we can sing it
so
like
you are telling me that
it's just a reminder.
you are telling me that okay you didn't do sex before marriage and you now got married you now get married to an impotent you say you
No, you
love
can't get married to an
how would you know
Why did you get married as an impotent?
Are you not
it
wicked?
dey happen now
Why did you get married?
it dey happen shebi you say you love everything about the person you love the impotent
So
man
you're found impotent. You know that you are impotent and you will get married. You're a wicked man.
so an impotent man does not deserve marriage you can
I'm sorry, no.
You
Look
can
at
see the
something
woman
in
like
marriage.
that. You should never deceive a woman like that. If you know you're an impotent man, please be impotent alone and stay on your own. Why punish your omonomo? Please.
No, nobody deserves to actually live the life of impotence with you, except you got impotent while married, and it's erectile dysfunction and whatnot is bigger than we actually make it look. There are so many men affected by these things, and if that's the case, then you are working towards getting healed. It's a medical condition. People get healed from it. There's treatment for it. But if it is that all the days of your life it didn't work. It didn't work. You want to marry.
Yeah, you want somebody.
Then you're a wizard.
Honestly, speaking about this, I have seen an experience in church like that the person got married. Although the
it dey happen now
he got married and he didn't tell the lady that it was
The pastor we
impotent.
annulled
It was
the
that
marriage.
night of their marriage that auntie said what's going on.
Okay.
He's not confessing.
The one where they
I
shoot-
can-
the
if
one where
they are
they
not
shoot blank.
standing,
That's
they are not
another
in
case.
Zoom.
the one wey dey shoot blank
That's another
He wouldn't
case.
know
Now
because
you
he
won't
won't
know.
know.
That one he wouldn't know.
He wouldn't know.
okay some guys know they shoot blank
How?
And that's because they've been doing
they've
it
tested
before.
now they've gone for
Those ones
tests
are wicked. It's the end of it. The
You
wicked.
know,
wicked.
wicked.
no she mentioned something that okay now you've decided to love me love me that way
Don't be wicked to someone that is already opened or exposed to that kind of.
Well, okay, if she tells you
If I
she's a sex
alone-
worker, will you tell her you are impotent?
Yeah.
Hey now.
Yeah.
If she tells you she's a sex worker, will you
She
tell her
was-
you are impotent?
she
Or
was
she
a
was a
sex-
sex worker, will you tell her
I
you are
know that
impotent?
she's sex
Will you
worker
tell her
now.
you are impotent if you are impotent?
I know that she's a sex
Will
worker
you tell her
marry
that
a
you are
sex worker
impotent
when
if
you
you
know
are
you are
impotent?
Finally, brethren. Finally, brethren.
But it's alright.
Finally, brethren.
It's okay.
And it just occurred to me we didn't even open the phone lines. And if it's not too late, of course, we can have you join in on the conversation while we make a wrap. Oh, so we're told by our producers now
Maybe we can
that
take comments
we can no
on
longer
Not
take
to talk.
we can no longer take calls anymore. But yes, a comment if that is. Well, there was a gentle man here who wrote a lot of epistle regarding Nigeria's politics on the lounge, and we're wondering, but we're not the only ones wondering on the lounge. A certain listener writes, a viewer, Olowogba Bemiga, Adeyinka also wondered and queried the person and said, out of context. Like, can you stay to the topic of conversation? And we had Jam, ZBD Jam, saying, good evening, fam. Good evening to you too. And you came just at a point where we're saying goodbyes. But you know, just before we say goodbyes, as I was just looking at this whole conversation, and then is to say, so a sex worker is, for me, worthy of love. And I want us to look at practical scenarios where sex workers have been married off the street as we make a wrap. In actual fact, real life, because it looks hypothetical, but this is somebody's life. So people have done the sex work and are off the street and are leading really gracious, good lives. Well, let's say, of course, the possibility of a sex worker who had turned a new leaf, actually going back to her vomit, is also there.
Yes.
And I'm not going to shy away from it.
Yes, of course.
But there are people who have led these lives and have been married off the street, and their partners are enjoying it.
Yeah.
Let's speak to this as we
I think basically for me, as we wrap up the show, is to just say that we are all human beings and everybody is entitled to change. I mean, change is the only constant thing they say. So because somebody was once a sex worker doesn't mean that she cannot find love, and it doesn't mean that she cannot build a home. That's all.
Okay, so I would agree with what Margaret said, but in my own opinion, personally, I do not feel like a sex worker would make a great wife, and vice versa. A sex worker as a man would make a great husband.
Well,
would not make a great
Would
husband.
not make.
everybody deserves love, but then you have to, you know, engineer the love that you also deserve. So you have to think deep before you get entangled or whatever, get married to an ex or whatever sex worker.
Okay, well, I think there are chances, there are choices, and then there are consequences. Well, for anyone who's a sex worker, expectedly, you'd find a number of them have even given up on the idea of a possible love. But for those who really dare to think that they can find love, I'm of the opinion that indeed you can. You know what it takes to find this love. Possibly take on a new leaf and see, no judgment soon. You know what? Nobody only pass. All of us get passed. See you another time on the lounge. My name is Melanie Ishala. And of course, right here is our delectable
Margaret Osazuwa.
and
Moyelo Alajide.
of course,
Alani Apamfa.
thank you for joining us.
Always a pleasure.
Great to have you. Thank you for joining us. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
To a guy ever.
And tomorrow,
Why do you leave Henry?
Are you in
Because
Lagos?
I want to
Are you in
get
Nigeria?
married.
How will you not feel
Just like
attached
you
after
must.
sex?
Yeah.
Like, no.
About every parent becomes the police
Okay.
in the lives of their kids.
Posing is not like me. I will just come direct like you guys do and open one ring and
Okay,
no,
okay.
no.
So-
guy, never reach me with my